Welcome to Conversations with Wellifehub Inc. My name is Nkatokondala. I am with, I wanted to say my favorite niece, but now it's going to make me fight with all my nieces, but it's Ntabeling Ndala. And as I mentioned, that I will have her back because we were having a conversation a while back about the birth order and responsibility. Do you want to introduce the topic, Ntabi?
Yes. Okay. So today we'll be talking about basically birth order and the responsibility that it puts on, like, especially as a firstborn daughter in an African household, like that type of responsibility that you'll be dealing with and the type of pressures that comes with it as well.
And this was brought about by an incident that had happened that you ruminated over. So, I mean, that incident had risk cover to that incident, but you kept on ruminating on it because of the pressure that you already said that you had put on yourself, the expectations, the responsibility. And not to say that as an individual you need not be responsible, but that thought lingered on a week later because of the virtue of the position that you are put on as a firstborn daughter. And I think I'm glad that you are even mentioning a firstborn daughter, because I think with the firstborn sons, it does not work quite the same. When I introduce myself, I always say I am a emotional firstborn. Because, do you see that? Because I have a brother who will laugh for now. Remember, I told you that Ntabi's going to shoot conversations with my sisters, and I'm sure what we're laughing about, it's a teaser. So, he's older and he's a firstborn. But what is demanded of him in life, society, normative, it's not the same as me being the firstborn daughter. So it's almost like I take on this persona of a firstborn while there is already a firstborn. So that is why I highlight the fact that you are specifying as a firstborn daughter. So talk to this responsibility.
Well, okay. So now with... there's something that my mom used to say when I was younger.
You even sort of, diffuse it with this chuckle. So what happened there?
Yes. Yeah. And now in hindsight, I don't like to hear it because of the kind of, like, the pressure and how heavy, like, it is on me, because it directly affects me, right? So she used to say that I was a self-raising child. I was an easy child, didn't give her much difficulty, but then that translated into the rest of my life. Now, imagine having this kind of pressure as a young child and then having to grow up with this thing that, oh no, this person is easy. It's one thing to take instructions easily, to be a listening child, to be easily disciplined. But then when you start putting labels like, oh no, this is a self-raising child.
So meaning that when you have emotional needs, okay.
They are not even identified, number one. When I have
emotional... I almost wanted to whistle.
Yeah. They are not identified. And they were not identified early on because I was a self-raising child. And this is something that I even came across recently, that for the children that were labeled self-raising, normally we encounter emotional deficits because emotionally you're not catering to me because you are saying that I am easy.
You enough. You have sufficient resources to take care of your emotional needs while I have a need. Yes. Because I'm a child, or even as an adult, but also that then throws you into the hyper-dependence, especially in relationships and all kinds of relationships, be it romantic relationships, especially maybe in romantic relationships and friendships, because I'm supposed to be enough, because I know how to feel myself, I'm well-resourced, because those needs were firstly not identified. And now when they are not identified, it's almost like I don't have them.
Yes.
Well, I have them. So,
which actually even feeds into, I remember when I was younger, I used to always feel lonely, like alone. In fact, not lonely. I felt alone a lot of the times, but not lonely. I'd be in the midst of a lot of people, but I'd always know that I feel alone. And I've always tried
so you are on your own.
Yes,
You
like
are on your own. You are on your own.
Yes, because I'd always wonder why. Like I'm with people, and not even just on surface level, but I'm with people that care about me, that love me, whatever. But because of that initial need has not been identified nor catered to, then it like feeds into this other feeling of like feeling on your own, feeling alone, and feeling like I can't touch base with others.
How are you then navigating life? So when I ask, how are you then navigating life? Because there's the then and there's the now. Aha. So the then is, we did not know what is this.
Yes.
Maybe also the primary caregivers, including myself, because I was a primary caregiver, mom, everybody around you, were not able to identify them. So it's the then and the impact thereof.
Oh, the impact. Hyper-independence. Hyper-independence in a sense that I have to figure it out on my own, because no one will be able to or will have the time to do that.
Okay, so no one will be able to or have the time, or as a result of the dialogue, because there is the perception and there's the reality. And is it a dialogue or is it now the reality?
No, it's not the reality. It's the lack of the dialogue. It's the lack of the language. It's the lack of trying, because, like, for instance, it's the lack of trying, because you're thinking, oh no, because the past has proven to be this, then it means I must pull up my socks. I must look out for me, because, I mean, these people don't understand me. They don't understand the kind of pressures that I have. And they don't understand the kind of pressure that I have, which also feeds into...
It's almost like you felt defeated as you were saying that.
Yes.
So tell me more about that.
Which it feeds into, actually feeds into how... So in my family, my immediate family, we are two. So I have a younger sibling. Now, my younger sibling is the polar opposite of me, whereas she needed more attention, needed more, she needed more active involvement. Not saying that I didn't need active involvement, but she needed it more.
Well, again, that's the psychology of the birth order.
Yeah.
She's the last born.
She's the last born.
Yeah.
So now, but how my mom would offset it is that with certain things also, not with everything. She'd be like, no, what you do on the left, you do on the right. And that is something that I grew up hearing, not necessarily seeing through with every aspect. Certain things, for sure, what you do on the left, you do on the right. That's the thing you say to make your children feel equal, right? But when you, as a child, and knowing your birth order, and you are seeing things with a different perspective, and you're like, but actually no, what you do on the left, you really don't do on the right. Because on the right, you have different expectations. Now, all of a sudden, because I just so happened to be born first, now I'm responsible for this one. So then what happens to my childhood? What happens to me fumbling? What happens to my needs? Like, what happens to me making mistakes, standing up, But the pressure is now more on me, because no, I'm telling you, are supposed to be responsible. You are supposed to know where to put your things. I mean, simple thing like losing a jersey at school. I lose a jersey. It's like, do you not want to have a jersey anymore? Do you want to be cold during the winter, ma'am? So please, make sure that you never lose that jersey again. And you know what I did? I never lost a jersey ever again in my life. My younger sister, No. Do you want to lose a jersey? We will still buy you that jersey. But you will be told, do you want to lose a jersey 3-4 times? But you will never, ever have to go through winter without a jersey. So those are the types of things I would pick up and I'd be like, this is not making sense. Okay? And then now, like when you now go into the types of responsibilities, like in terms of now performing in school, you are held at a higher standard. Not necessarily that we both don't have the same capabilities. In fact, I did better in my formative years, like primary, high school, I did amazing. Varsity, I did good, but I really performed well, primary and high school. My younger sister, she did okay in these formative years. High school, she did okay. Varsity, once she figured out what she loves,
90-something.
she passed with a cum laude.
Yes.
I didn't get a cum laude in varsity, but she did, which shows me we are both capable. But the type of pressure then that was placed on the both of us, nowhere near the same, because then it's like, no, you have no choice but to do it. But she got an opportunity to fumble.
Yes.
But if I miss a step, oh, please.
Sure.
No, you can't do that.
Sure. And I think you are touching on the essence here of parenting and, the birth order, obviously, maybe even the recapturing and reenactment, if you can, of a childhood that was lost.
Yes.
And for those who are listening and they can so identify with what you are saying, how would you say they can recapture that childhood, to tap into that? Because I think oftentimes we see it in rebellion, but also we know from literature that it's very difficult for a firstborn child to be rebellious because they are the poster child.
Yes, you are the poster
so,
child.
even that rebellion, it's like,
you are out of character.
Sure.
Like, this is not you. We know better. You know better than this. We know you better than this. But this is a phenomenon that I've started taking embracing myself. Disappoint your parents today. Disappoint them today, but...
Yeah, I think I remember a post that you posted about last year or so.
Oh, no.
About
Disappoint them today.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be in the form of rebellion, but it can be in the sense of you discovering who you are without their opinions about who you are. Because sometimes we've noticed that our parents don't really know us the way they think they know us. So allow yourself to be yourself. Be present in who you are. And if it means that they are being reintroduced to someone else, let them.
I disappoint my parents
Yes.
now?
Disappoint your parents today.
How will it look like?
Today. Disappoint them today. Like, for instance, I know with me, I would even say that disappointing my mom would be standing 10 toes deep in what I knew was the talent and the gift that God has given me and pursuing that, which was graphic design.
Sure.
To my mom, it was like, what are you doing? You're going to be a struggling artist. I'm like, no, just watch me.
Sure.
Watch. That was the first, I am going to disappoint you because I'm not going to go into a commerce field. I'm not going to do finance like you. I'm not that person. I am creative and I'm going to embrace my creativity and you'll catch on the way. And also, like, in terms of recapturing your childhood, for me, how it looks is being as quirky and weird as I am and showing up as that person without a doubt. Like, I know I'm not people's cup of tea, not everyone's cup of tea, because I am loud, I am animated, I am this, I am that. But it's just me being true to myself because that is the true Ntabeleng. That is the true self from a young girl. This has been me. And I'm embracing that and not trying to fit into molds that people want to put me in. And that is like a way to recapture yourself, like to make that little girl happy again. Yeah.
So I'm just even imagining, as you're saying, disappoint your parents. Today, I remember this other time, I think it was one of my first appearances on TV a while back, close to 10 or so years, when my mother's eyes could still see. By the way, your grandmother can actually see right now. And so she made a comment, but she was quite subtle about it. She was like, next time when you go to TV, make sure that you are wearing something that does not show your thighs. And I was like, but so actually, thinking about it, because again, Miss Goody Two Shoes, wearing long stuff and this and that. But right now, in my mind, I'm making a plan about how to disappoint my parents.
Yes, disappoint them today.
That should be the funniest thing to watch. Healing those wounds. What is it taking you? What has it been taking you? Because what we are talking about, it's a recent incident as well, where you ruminated on this event. But I'm glad that when you were ruminating on that, you brought the awareness to say, I am aware, why am I overthinking the situation? And I even asked you this and that, because I was wondering, how come you still fixated about feeling bad while there's actually mitigation for that incident? How does that journey look like?
Firstly is opening myself up to my community, which is the people that I talk to, right? My friends, loved ones. Okay, hey guys, this is what happened. I feel so horrible about this. And then accepting the help in terms of whether it's advice or encouragement, which counts for a lot.
Or a venting session.
Or a venting session, like just for them to listen to me, right? And this was something my friend, when I was talking through this whole ordeal, one of my friends, who happens also to be a firstborn. So it's also important to have people like that who understand your struggle, but who also will walk with you through it. So I call them my firstborns club, because we really hold each other down. So one of the things that she even made me aware of was the fact that, I see you, I see what you're doing. You're taking on so much responsibility for this because you are the responsible child. But I need you to remember that this was a mistake. It's a mistake. It could have happened to anybody. Just because it happened to you this time around doesn't make you a less responsible person. And I had to take that in and sit with that. And then the second thing that she said is that this is when I am reminded that even firstborn children are allowed to reclaim their childhood back, because it has been taken too soon and they did not have the opportunity to do that. So do things that bring back that joy. Do things that will remind you of that childlike joy that you were unfortunately robbed of too soon. So those are the types of things that I would be doing, like talking to people about it, because I realized that I had a horrible habit of bottling things up. So now I express any and every single time I have an opportunity to do that. And I tap into then these people that are willing to listen, that are willing to give encouragement, that are willing to just walk with me through it. So yeah, that's how it looks like for me.
And I think to also hear more about some of what Ntavi is talking about, how you process, and your socials are one way of you processing and venting and just thinking things through or reflecting. So Ntabeleng is on YouTube. She's got a channel. She is on TikTok, where she has some clips, some reflections, yes, some funny ones, some very not so serious, but some very deep as well. Where sometimes when I listen to those, I'm like, oh, it's scary. I need to check in. But I guess that is also, part of venting. And when you're talking about this with reclaiming the childhood, it even spills over to a topic that I did. I think I did it on the radio twice, and then I did it on our channel, Parentification. Because oftentimes firstborns are parentified.
Yes.
They are what we call deputy parents, especially firstborn girls. And the relationship dynamics that get created because now the firstborn girl is a deputy parent becomes that of hostility with the siblings, because who are you? You are not my mother, but you were put in the mother position, in the fathering position. And yet you've got the siblings who do not see you that way as much as you are put in that role. And now it brings this havoc of relationships with the siblings. But if the parents are able to now differentiate that we are the parents, these are the children, it does not matter. I was having, and they might hate me for this, having a talk with my kids, and the other one wanted to use the older one's shower gel in the morning. She sat on the bed for close to 10 minutes because she wanted the older one's shower gel. So I let it slide that morning, because it was a morning where in the evening I was like, you are not entitled to anything of your sister's. Just because she's your bigger sister, it is her stuff, it was her gift. We only had soap at the time. I said, we now and then get the shower gel, but if you only had soap to use, so be it. You are not in any way entitled to your sister's stuff. It's a boundary. When she says no, you don't even need to ask. Why is she saying no? Because it's her stuff. And that is just to teach them that there is no, you can't say, no, don't beat up a child. They are the child themselves. And you cannot be like, oh, take care of your younger sister because you are the older one, or give them the bigger bite because you are the older one, they are the child. I refuse.
All of those things that you just said. Give the bigger bites. Do this. Take care of the child. My reality, my childhood, and that causes resentment to your siblings. Now you start resenting your siblings because firstly, then they don't have boundaries.
They have it their way.
Sure. Now you must just grin and bear it. And another thing is that, or this is something that I also struggle with a lot, is when they ask for something, I say yes. Okay, even though, yes, I do want to do it, and I do it immediately. And then I ask, and then they are entitled to take their time to do what I asked. And then it's like, why do I bother? Why do I bother asking you? Because I know you're not going to do it when I need you to do it. But when you ask me, I respect that you need me to do it now, and I do it now.
So that's something that you need to sort out and say, even the other person, just because, and I know this is usually very hard for my clients when they are givers and they don't have boundaries and they just, and they are disappointed when other people don't do it. And I'm like, but you are not them. You are not entitled just because you give. You don't know what capacity were they giving from. And as you say, it then causes resentment. By the way, we love our parents.
Yes.
We need to put that disclaimer out there.
Yes,
and they are wonderful people. But as Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. And we do not fault anyone of anything. It's because we did not know
Yes.
as parents, and that is why we're having platforms like this, so that we can have conversations to enlighten, to educate, to help parentified kids,
Yes.
to help deputy parents, to say that let it make sense why the relationship with your siblings is the way that it is. Let it make sense why you are feeling the way that you are, where you are hyper independent, where you cannot ask for help, where you're thinking that you are all by yourself. This is where it stems from, and you need to then process it and see how you can find closure with that. Parting words as we check out?
Disappoint your parents today,
Yes.
but also in a way that makes sense. Don't do
Yeah.
what I wouldn't do.
So we should not be stupid. So
No.
me disappoint my parents, I've got kids. I need to think of that.
Yes.
Sure.
Do it in a way that makes sense to you and the life that you want to live.
So here's an ironical statement. I wanted to say, do it in a responsible way.
I mean, hey.
Peace out. See you next time.